Episode for high GC News, Mima Ubibia Aquaba, Hadia latest hot Nkwa Eramini Bremo. Anuti Sonya subscribe to channel idea Bomodia say over subscribe. Gabby say over click a year the subscribe button, you know. Na wabele notification, we had a video for free be upload no when the first person what's Ebeka a year sa video. Afi we are na like video no give us a thumbs up na fi. Share my or for so that when you be here now and some do na ra ekoso ewo Ghana memoanum afi tentemo imbura ye semwa abeto yepuno so mumayiti sa report ya ababetu mumayiti asemi.
We are told that when they went to his house, and this is Afenyo Markin. Now Afenyo Markin, I think sometimes he talks too much. He's so much in a hurry to talk that sometimes he leaves his brain behind. You understand? There's this gentleman who is talking, and what is he telling us? That when they went there were 3 official cars in the house. Okay? And that those 3 official cars were driven away, and later his drivers went and picked the official cars and so on. I'm asking myself, retired governor, what are 3 official cars doing in his house? He's not entitled to any official car. If he retires with the vehicle, it becomes his personal property. It is no longer an official vehicle. So if there are 3 official cars in his house, then something was wrong. But this information is coming from Afenyo Markin. Afenyo Markin. I can't believe it. 3 official cars. What were they doing in the former governor's house? Official cars. 3. Not 1, not 2. 3. Why? The new publisher of March 19, 2025, which is just the Thursday which passed. And it has a very, very interesting story. It says that popular politician in Ahmed Suale's case, murder deals, police grab suspect, and I've read the story. The story claims that the suspect who was arrested actually disguised himself, ran out of the country, and came back clandestinely and was arrested in a hair salon and so on. And he was taken to court and has been granted bail. What an amazing story. You get what I'm driving at?
Yeah.
Somebody suspected of committing murder. The investigating authorities said that he actually disguised himself and ran out of the country. What does that mean? Why would anybody disguise himself and run out of the country and sneak into the country?
Yeah.
And the person is taken to court and is granted bail. Murder case, high profile case, exceedingly interesting. And then we are told that somehow, there's a leading popular politician whose name has come up in the investigations, and we are not told who.
Yeah.
Very interesting developments. So are these the investigating authorities we are talking about? I just wonder.
Yeah.
Are these the courts we are talking about? Now, I am not a lawyer like him. Just a layman. Okay? But if there's evidence that somebody who has been arrested for such a high crime actually disguised himself and ran out of the country and sneaked back into the country, there's a high probability of that person jumping bail.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a lawyer to understand this. And the courts have granted bail. And there's a very high profile politician involved. That high profile politician is being protected. The name is not even being made available to the public. It's being protected. His image is being protected. Are these the investigating authorities we are talking about? Are these the courts we are talking about? I just wonder. You see, yesterday, I was discussing all of these happenings with some friends of mine. And with particular reference to Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, I mean, one of my friends said, he has no right to complain. I said, why doesn't he have a right to complain? He said, but he did worse things to Ghanaians. This haircut, pensioners, they couldn't access their own money to buy medicines. They couldn't pay their medical bills. It's even possible that some of them died. So this friend of mine said, he deserves what he's getting. And I cringed. Immediately cringed. Then another friend said, why? What is happening to them is nothing compared to what they did to others. And actually went on to cite the case of Kojo Kyeremanteng, who reported to Ryoko on numerous occasions, who was harassed for years and so on. So they haven't seen half of what Kojo Kyeremanteng has seen. And then I remembered the case of my own very good friend, Mr. Ato. He has never told the story publicly. Massa, Mr. Ato, what happened to him? I mean, the investigating officers became his virtual home. He was always there. Tens of times, scores of times, and he had no time to do any other thing. Wakes up in the morning, dresses up, and reports, and is questioned, and so on. So somebody says, what are they complaining about? They did worse, and so on. But you see, I listened to all of this carefully. The logic in all of this can only lead to deterioration. What standards are we applying?
Yeah.
If what they did to Kyeremanteng was wrong, should it be done to somebody else?
No.
Even if it doesn't meet that threshold. If what they did to Mr. Ato was not acceptable, should it be done to somebody else? These are important questions that we should ask and answer, because it will help all of us grow up. Yes, it is true that the haircut, which was introduced by Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, caused havoc. Actually forced a former Chief Justice onto the streets to protest, to demonstrate, unprecedented in our history. It is true. Okay? And so what? Please, let's be careful. And so what? You see, Sana, in my short life, I've seen so many things. And I have so many stories to tell. You see, I recall, I think it was 1991. No, 1986. I was in Oshafort. I was locked up in Oshafort with Akoto Mpao, Raf Kugbe, and Kweku. And one dawn, somebody shouted for us, shouted our names and so on. It turned out to be Mawuli Goka. And Mawuli Goka told us that he was being taken to the firing range. They were going to kill him. Okay? They were going to kill him. And he said that he had a few hours to die. And he was urging us to carry on the struggle. I can never forget this. This was 1986 in Oshafort prison. When we were taking him away to go and shoot him, he stood by our window and told us to continue the fight and that he had come to the end. What fight was he talking about? What fight was he talking about? On the verge of his death, he gave us a mission. What was that mission? That mission was to ensure, as far as I'm concerned, that our experiences would never happen to any other person. So I've lived my life, saying to myself that what happened to me should never happen to any other person, enemy or friend. So that is the principle with which I am going to look at all of the things that are happening. You see, a lot of people, I hear them say that there was a court warrant. What does that mean? Because all of us, including you, Senna, have had occasion to question judgments from our courts. We have had occasion to say that the Supreme Court was wrong in some of the decisions that it made. Now, if you have done that, what it simply means is that our courts are not divine institutions. That our courts make mistakes. That sometimes our courts side with political authority. That sometimes our courts are not even minded by the law. All of us have said that based on our practical experiences before. Now, if we have, how can we today simply justify an action because there's a court decision? Let's think about it. You understand? Let's think about it. So that's one point. This court warrant thing, I am not sure is sufficient justification for entering anybody's house or for doing any of the things which have been done. I'm not sure that simply obtaining a court warrant justifies things. I'm not sure. I am not sure. I'm simply not sure. Okay, that's one. Now, you know, in our days, well, I'm still alive, you understand. One of the protections that we had in those days was the habeas corpus law. Habeas corpus law. So that if you are arrested unjustly and so on, your family or people related to you and so on can go to court on the basis of habeas corpus and request that the state should produce your body in court. It was some kind of a guarantee, especially in those days where there were extrajudicial killings and so on. The habeas corpus law became an important law for protection against the arbitrariness of the state. You understand? Then the PNDC passed the habeas corpus amendment law. Maza, one of the worst things that happened in the history of Ghana in terms of the application of the law and upholding the rights of citizens was the PNDC's passage of the habeas corpus amendment law. Do you know what that meant? Under the habeas corpus amendment law, if you are arrested and you file on the basis of habeas corpus and so on, all the state had to do was to come to court and say that you have been arrested for national security reasons. Finish, case closed. So it rendered the habeas corpus law inoperative, useless, completely useless. And people suffered for this. I don't want this to be ever repeated. So it was lawful for the state to refuse to produce your body in court. It became lawful. So if you're talking about what the law permits and so on, let us be guided by some of these things. You understand? Yeah. They are lawful, but is that the path we want to tread as a people? And so, Now, I believe very, very strongly that the state institutions, including its investigative institutions and so on, ought to act according to law. Otherwise, we'll be thrown into the jungle. State institutions, especially the investigative authorities, the NIB, the CID, the so-called Yoko and so on, all of them ought to operate according to law. It's a very firm belief that I have. Even when they are dealing with murderers, even murderers have rights. Murderers, those who commit murder, have rights. And we cannot violate those rights simply because they are murderers and so on. We should understand that very clearly. So today, I asked myself, why was Henry Addison's house...
Ernest.
Is it Ernest?
Ernest Addison.
Well, forgive me, Massa. There are so many names in the world, sometimes you can't get all of them right.
Yeah, that's one.
Why was Ernest Addison's house searched, raided? I don't know what words to use. I don't know. Do you know?
No.
Senna, do you know? I don't know. All the explanations that have been given and so on doesn't tell us anything about how and why the house was searched. You understand? So on what basis do I make a judgment? Master, on what basis do I make a judgment as to whether what happened was right or wrong, lawful or unlawful? We don't know anything. We are told that when they went to his house, and this is Afenyo Markin. Now, Afenyo Markin, I think sometimes he talks too much. He's so much in a hurry to talk that sometimes he leaves his brain behind. You understand? There's this gentleman who is talking, and what is he telling us? That when they went there were 3 official cars in the house. Okay? And that those 3 official cars were driven away, and later his drivers went and picked the official cars and so on. Now I'm asking myself, retired governor, what are 3 official cars doing in his house? He's not entitled to any official car. If he retires with the vehicle, it becomes his personal property. It is no longer an official vehicle. So if there are 3 official cars in his house, then something was wrong. But this information is coming from Afenyo Markin. Afenyo Markin. I can't believe it. 3 official cars. What were they doing in the former governor's house? Official cars. 3. Not 1, not 2. 3. Why? It doesn't end there. We are told that there were empty money boxes in the house. What does it mean? First of all, what is a money box? You know, children, they keep these small boxes of this size. Susu box, thank you. And they keep coins inside and so on. That's a money box, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So if they found these types of money boxes in his house, what is the problem? Did they find huge, gigantic money boxes in his house which carry 2 billion? And if they did find huge, gigantic boxes in his house which carry 2 billion, what is the inference? That some monies were carried from the central bank to his house and emptied, and the boxes left behind. Is that the inference? And if that is the inference, why are we not being told? What kind of boxes did they find in his house beyond them being money boxes? What kind of boxes? And how are those boxes related to the search on his house? Did they go to his house because of those money boxes? Or they accidentally found those money boxes and so on? I don't know what to make of this. I simply don't know what to make of this. Now listen, in the campaign, for the 2024 elections, President Mahama made a bold promise to the people of Ghana. He said that if he was elected, those who have stolen our monies will be made to cough the monies out. One. They will be punished for stealing the money and so on. And the people of Ghana accepted this and voted for him. So part of his mandate is to recover what they call the loot. Part of his mandate is to punish those who looted. Nobody can quarrel with that. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody can quarrel with that. But then everybody expects that some important principles of law should be upheld. And one of the most important principles of law is that every and anybody must be presumed to be innocent until convicted by not just a court, but a competent court. You understand what I mean? And this is a principle all of us must respect. This is a principle all of us must uphold. Okay? So it is important that even those who are suspected of having committed crime should be made to enjoy their full rights as citizens until convicted by a competent court. This is an important principle that we cannot play with at all. You understand? Now, for me, I must say that one of the texters, Dennis Akwete, made a point. And then, Dennis, I salute you. You understand? I fully agree with you. Sometimes the aesthetics of cases become more important than the substance. You understand? And at the center of all of these so-called raids, searches, and so on, is this personality called dapaah. I have nothing against dapaah. He may be doing his work as assigned to him by his superiors and so on. You understand? But we cannot forget that just a few months ago, he was in court being tried. And we remember the tape recordings and all of those things and so on. All of those things color his actions today. You can't take those things out. So sometimes it is so easy for people to assume that this is vengeance, payback time. It may not be the case. It may not be the case, but I'm talking about the aesthetics. So therefore, I agree with Dennis Akwete that if things must be done and so on, why must it be done under the leadership of what is his name? dapaah. Why? Somebody must explain. Because it seems to me that they are not paying attention to the aesthetics. They are not. Nobody is paying attention to the aesthetics. But the aesthetics are as important and valuable as substance in these matters. You understand? So that's part of the problem. Now, I'm sitting back and I'm really wondering, Sana, Bank of Ghana, you say his name is Ernest Addison.
Yes.
If any government, any serious prosecution authority wants to investigate Ernest Addison and prosecute him, do you have to search his house? Tell me, do you have to search his house?
No.
Because what we were told, and I'm not saying it, what we were told was that he illegally printed currency. Illegally printed currency. Would the evidence for that be found in his house?
No.
Not at all.
We were told that he took certain actions which led to substantial financial loss to the state because it was without parliamentary approval. Is the evidence for that available in his house? So think back. All the things that were said about Ernest Addison, you think he cannot be prosecuted without going to his house? So this going to his house, what was it meant to find? I don't know. Maybe they have answers, but I don't know. Nobody knows. The only people who know may be in national security. You understand? Maybe in the Attorney General's office and so on. I wish that these investigations be carried out in the most transparent manner. In a manner which does not give the targets of investigations and so on some high moral grounds, to turn around and to do some of the things that we are hearing and seeing today. Let these investigations be based on law. Let the rights of the accused be respected. And let convictions take place and nobody would have anything to do with that. You understand? Now, look, MPP. Everybody knows what is happening in the MPP today. Yeah. Leading member of the party is here. Former member of parliament is here. Everybody knows what is happening in the MPP. Okay. If the MPP actually thinks that the way forward is what Afenyo Markin is doing, God bless them. If the MPP really thinks that the way forward lies in numerous press conferences of no substance, God bless them. Because what is happening in the MPP is a really substantial movement leading to the establishment of the true values of the party. Yeah. It's the true values of the party which is in contention. Yeah. You understand? And until that is resolved, this noise making, sometimes childish in the extreme, would not help anybody. It will not help them. It will not help the country. It will not help anybody. You understand? So, what is my position? My true position is this. No citizen is above the law. And if you say that no citizen is above the law, what you also imply is that no citizen is under the law. I mean, all of us have to be treated with equal measure, irrespective of our party affiliation and so on. All of us, let all of us, and I was wrong, every citizen should be under the law, not above the law. So let all of us be treated, under the law and not above the law. Citizens have rights guaranteed by the Constitution, guaranteed by legislation passed by Parliament. It should work. You understand? It should work. I am in sympathy with the position which was taken by my good friend, lawyer Appiah Dankwa. Because when the Office of Special Prosecutor was being created, I objected to it, the manner in which that office was being created. It was only going to lead to chaos. But nobody listened. Because one, the NDC members of parliament did not want to oppose the process so that they would be thought of as persons who didn't want accountability. So they went along. The NPP members of parliament went along, not so much so that they believed in what was being done, but because the executive wanted to make a point. It was received public applause and so on. So we established the Office of Special Prosecutor, pretending that it was an independent institution, when the Constitution says very clearly that the power to prosecute is vested in the Attorney General. That has not changed. Every other law is supposed to be inferior to the provisions of the Constitution. And yet, we have Parliament establishing the office of Special Prosecutor and pretending that it's an independent institution and so on. One of the reasons why they claimed that we needed to establish the office of Special Prosecutor was that the Attorney General was appointed by the President. Who appointed the Special Prosecutor?
The President.
Did we go or did we come? I mean, sometimes you can't believe what we do to ourselves. So we established this office of Special Prosecutor, and in the beginning, there was so much euphoria and so on, not so much in the office, but in the person who was going to occupy the office. Because the person who was going to occupy the office was an NDC person, or had been associated with the NDC and so on, had actually become vice presidential candidate of the NDC at one point.
Yes.
So people in the NPP were happy to say, their own man is the one who is going to be dealing with them and so on. You lie? I lie?
No.
They were so happy. That was the whole point. Today, I'm sure that there are people in the NDC who are also so very happy. And you know what they are saying? Oh, we didn't appoint him. Oh. It is their own appointee who is dealing with them. And so on. Should we run a country like this? Should we run a nation like this? I am not so sure. I think we should clean up our act. You understand? As for Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, I think he should be made to understand in clear language that his citizenship of this country is not superior to the citizenship of any other citizen. He's a citizen like Senna. He's a citizen like Kwame Mensah from Ashirasi. You understand? His citizen is not superior to the citizenship of my good friend in Bolga, Atinga, and so on. He must begin to understand that. And that at some point or now, the people of Ghana would ask him to account for his stewardship. It's a legitimate demand. You can't sit in the Ministry of Finance and make all these important decisions of life and death for a country and not be asked to account for your stewardship. You cannot be president of this republic and at some point not be asked to account for your stewardship and so on. So he will be asked to account for his stewardship. Now, if he has done everything according to law, if he has not broken any law, he should not have any fears. You understand? But if he's done something against the dictates of our law and so on, of course you should expect that the rod of justice will lash him at the back. That's if he's lucky. If he's not lucky, it will lash him on his forehead.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, I still think we do have some 9 minutes. Quick comments on the last topic, on the change the security front. Very quick comments. And this time I stand with Doc.
You want me to go first?
Yes. 2 minutes.
So let me be a bit categorical here.
That I'm hoping that in the future our national security will not be politicized. It's very important. We need to be very apolitical about it, in the sense that their duties and functions are not necessarily for the party, but for the country, and it should tie us back to the fact that we were talking about doctors and nurses who in the future may have to show their party affiliation before they are granted the opportunity to work. I, as a medical doctor, will not ask if you're NDC or MPP before I attend to you, or if you're a criminal or not a criminal before I attend to you. So I think that I think that the removal of or the change of these agency heads or leadership of the security apparatus creates another upward mobility for others. I think that in as much as possible, maybe the third one should be made 6 years, so that it's not influenced by any president when they come, in their very first 100 days or 120 days. So, and those are administrative ways of, as it is, reducing the presidential influence in some of these national security or security services arrangement. In other jurisdictions, these heads even campaign, and I voted for. And that way they are independent of the presidency, So we need to, as we move into the future, look at this and then ensure that the code of conduct. May I just add that I have seen some effort being made to undo everything that another government did. In terms of, let me just cite, some of the people who were arrested or charged. The Attorney General comes and then just, unwind everything. And IGP too, those who were branded as criminals are now, So I think that these things need to change. Okay. It can't be that under Senate's tenure, a thief is arrested, and because I've become the new IGP, that thief no longer, by law, is a thief. That is very unacceptable, and our credibility as a nation will go down the drain. So these are things that should be looked at. Okay. I'm not saying that the Attorney General is wrong in some of the things he's done, or some of these security heads are wrong. Cocaine cannot then become powder, because it's a different regime. We need to be very clear about these things. If not, every crime committed under MPP's government will then become non-criminal under NDC, and vice versa. And this has to be looked at.
Okay, thank you.
So those are my 2 cents on this one.
Right.
In fact, let me say that I largely agree with the position Lord is saying, except to add that we should be guided also by what happened on what we call a day of shame in this country, February 24th. On that day of shame, the person in charge of security in this country, IGP, the head security, orchestrated this generational crime, not just to Ghana, but to Africa, by the overthrow of Kwame Nkrumah. It was IGP. Is it Hale or whatever his name is? And I think the head of, So we should be guided by that. So as in the ideal situation, yes, you have tenure and all, but because of our checkered history, without some of our security people have acted, I think it was that thinking that caused the framers of the Constitution to give power to the president to be making this kind of changes. So yes, for me, at the end of the day, when there's, based on that history, I think the president, you understand, in his duty to maintain the security and the stability of this state, I think he should have a say in who, and a serious say in the people that man the security agencies. Because we shouldn't forget our history. Every 24th February we do a day of shame. The perpetrators of that day of shame were the IGP, head of the military. And so that's my stake. So on that basis, I tend to support the president in exchanging the security guard.
Come in.
I think we should be exceedingly careful.
Yeah.
Not to make the term of office of security chiefs coterminous with the term of office of politicians. There's a huge danger there. If you have an IGP, an army chiefs, who know that when government changes, they are going home, they can never dispense justice and they can never do their work independently. So it's a danger when we create the impression that every IGP goes with the government which appointed it. It's a serious danger to our democracy. We should depoliticize the security institutions to the extent that it is possible. And I'm not seeing that now. And I'm very, very worried. Okay. Now, I know there has been lots of comments about Inspector General of Police Dompreh and how he has been removed and so on and so forth. Sana, look, I want to be exceedingly objective in this matter. Yeah. I mean, if you were President John Mahama, seeing all this campaign, heavy campaign against Dompreh, every morning, every afternoon, on every radio station, you know, even to the extent of suggesting that his date of birth is false and that he's so unpopular in the police service and so on. Yeah. Every politician would remove him. At least for the purpose of getting some acceptance within the police service. You understand what I'm saying? So President Mahama was put under extreme pressure to take this action against Dompreh. The day Dompreh's removal was announced, there was some orchestration about jubilation in the police barracks and so on. All of that points to why he probably was removed. You understand? But you see, I like to think above this. And it's a fact. Nobody can deny this fact. That under Dompreh, we have some of the cleanest by-elections in our history. Yeah. The police acted so professionally to the extent that people in the NPP were angry with Dompreh. Yeah. In fact, in the run-up to the elections, there were elements in the NPP who actually insisted that Dompreh should be removed and that he was not good for the NPP in the elections. These are all public facts. Yeah. I'm not making them up, they're all public facts. Somehow, just before the election, the current IGP, a special position was created for him as deputy IGP. And he was put there just before the election by the New Patriotic Party. What was the reason? I don't know. What was the reason? What are they seeing? And so on. I don't know. Now the point I'm making is that when somebody goes to this extent of working to ensure at least, if for nothing at all, free and fair elections, I don't think that it should be treated in a shabby manner. I think that the message we have to send out there is that those who stand up for the country, those who insist on operating under the law, those who insist that elections must not be rigged and so on, will be saluted at least. The position of IGP is not for anybody on a permanent basis. You understand? Any police officer qualified can occupy it and so on. It's not Dompreh's personal property and so on. But I insist that even if he has been removed, he must be given a dignified exit. He must not be treated like some shabby criminal and something. Given what he did, especially in the conduct of elections in this country. He has set a record in the conduct of elections in this country that we must respect. And I think that Dompreh should not be treated in a shabby manner. Finish.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yo, Jafo Winnie and Samoa Ababeto, Yaproso, because so we are subscribe to channel idea, but more than say, over subscribe. Now, while like video, give us a thumbs up, Nafi, share my waffle so now when you be here now and somewhere also, Ghana memoir. Also, bit me otchere wadwin afa yen some way nyina ho ewo comment box ni mu mobati minkabi in my next video.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.